If I had told you at the beginning of this year that we would have been facing a pandemic by the name of COVID-19 that was going to turn this world upside down, you would have never believed it. The COVID Conquerors series on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. In this climate of fear, confusion, and suppression, I saw the need to create the COVID Conquerors podcast series. COVID Conquerors features phenomenal people who are, despite their challenges, thriving personally or in service to their community. COVID Conquerors airs live on Facebook and YouTube every other Thursday at 9 p.m. GMT, that's UK time, on the Aisha Muhammad podcast. This podcast aims to encourage, inspire, and empower you, to reassure you that in this time of uncertainty, should you look, you will see that there are great opportunities for you to thrive in aspects of your life, regardless to whom or what. It's time to start the live podcast where you'll meet this week's phenomenal guest. Let the countdown begin. Welcome to the Aisha Muhammad podcast. This is the podcast series, COVID Conquerors. We are here today with a very special guest of whom I will introduce to you shortly. Now, you might be thinking, who's this girl on my timeline? Well, my name is Aisha Muhammad and I am a self-love coach. I'm based in the United Kingdom. Now, you may have caught or maybe not caught the intro. What is this series about? This podcast series, COVID Conquerors, is about basically trying to motivate, to inspire, and to uplift and show that even though we're in a time of uncertainty, you are able to thrive. So I've sought out, and some have sought me out, some phenomenal guests, both male and female, who are thriving despite their struggles and adversity during this time. So within that, we find hope. So I'm very happy to introduce to you today this phenomenal, beautiful sister that I have here, Sister Kamapala Chukwuka. Excellent. Right. Thank you. I love your name. I love it. People always struggle with mine. It's not Aisha and all these other things. It's Aisha, two syllables. So Sister Kamapala, beautiful name.
Kama.
Happy to have.
Kamapala.
Sorry?
I've got an extra A in there.
Kamapala. Kamapala. Thank you for the correction. I am so happy to have you here, Sister Kamapala. I'm so happy. You sought me out and you said, this is awesome. I want to come on your show. Bam. We made it happen. And here you are. A little bit about my sister here. She is an author. Okay, she's got 2 children's books that she's going to tell us a little bit about. One I've purchased, actually, my dear, because we like to support our sisters, Black business. Yes, I have mine here, and the children are going to be so happy. Came today, so we're going to get stuck in to read that. And we also, what else we know about you? You're a confidence coach, aren't you, my dear? And you also have a new business that you're going to tell us about, Inspired Creative Hub. So please share the broadcast, everyone, as we have a lively discussion, a chat, you know, that will inspire and motivate you. So please share this broadcast with those who you know and spread some sunshine on their timeline. So tell us a little bit about your journey as an author of children's books.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Indeed, I sought you out because I love what you're doing here. I love the fact that you're bringing hope, you're inspiring people, and you're just telling people, you know what, we can do this. I know it's been a really rough time out there, but you definitely can look inward and find something positive to share with the world. So yes, I'm so delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me. My name is
Pleasure.
Kamapala Chukwuka, like Aisha has said, and my journey as a children's book author. Well, I don't know if you know many children's book authors, but I personally never thought in my wildest dream that I was going to write children's books. But like,
Mhm.
I've always said it and I keep saying it. When you become a mom, there's so many things that you get inspired to do that you never thought in your wildest dreams that you would do.
That's true. Mhm.
And one of them is really writing books for children. So the words of my first book actually came to me. My first book is
Mhm.
called Mommy's Love for You Will Always Be. The
Mhm.
words came to me while I was in the shower. I was, getting ready to go see a friend, and these words just kept coming to me. And I thought, oh, hold on, what is that? And I put them all down
Mhm.
really quickly and popped out to go see a friend. On my way, I saw a mom pushing a child, and I said, can I read I've just written a children's book, can I read it to you? It's a very
Mhm.
short book. It's just like a poem to how a mom feels towards her child, and I read it to her and she was like, that is so beautiful. And I thought, hold on, I'm going to turn this into a book. So yes,
Oh.
that's how I came across writing books for children. When I wrote that first book and I saw the feedback, that the way it was received, I thought, oh, okay, there's something here. I'm gonna make this a thing. But it wasn't so much about the feedback, but more like the publishing journey, the obstacles that I found in the wake of writing a children's book for Black children. One of the
Mhm.
comments that I received was, there's not enough demand for children's book for Black kids. And I thought, hold
Mhm.
on, something is not quite right there. And from
Yeah.
that, I just got really spurred to say, okay, I'm gonna put more, even more. If there's not enough, if there are not enough of us writing for Black kids, then we should do something about it. We should encourage our own people to write books for children that look like us, because our kids need to see themselves in books in a positive light. So I'm doing my bit. I'm adding my voice to that minuscule pool, but I'm doing my bit anyway. So yes, that is my journey. It didn't start out the way I thought it would, but I'm loving it so far.
Well, that's good. We do need books that represent us. When our children flip the page, they can see a little Black girl or a little Black boy or a little Black
Yep.
family,
Yep.
to just, reinforce that they exist in the world and that we
Absolutely.
have stories to tell. I remember being at school and, I reading books, or what is it, Johnny, Yellow Hat, and all these other characters. The only time we touched on anything, Black in a book was Anansi, and they're probably still doing that till this day. So
You know,
I don't know where they did their research in regards to demand. I know there's a high demand for
there is.
books with, children, Black children. It's they just want to obviously
Absolutely.
put us off when we're trying to do things. So am I
Yeah.
right by saying that, did you self-publish your book?
I did. I absolutely did. It was quite challenging because I had no idea what the self-publishing journey was going to be like. It's been a really steep learning course, to say the least.
Mhm.
I've literally grown so much by trying to figure out how to take words, turn it into illustrations, turn it into a book, and then get it to the reader. So through that process, I actually started my own publishing company through Inspired Creative Hub, which we'll talk about, my creative
Mhm.
agency. So I now help, and when I say help, it's just a love project. I'm out there to help as many Black diverse authors put their books out there too, because even though the process can be quite overwhelming, when you have someone holding your hand, it makes
Yeah.
all the difference. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
It does. It does. Because when you don't know, you don't know. So those who know, teach one. And that's how we will come into
That's it.
knowing and be able to actualize some of these ideas that we have, because there is this culture with some of us, unfortunately, whereby we can be quite, fearful that if we help another person, we're somehow going to lose out, or they're going to surpass us if
No,
it's in the same area of interest. For instance, I'm a coach, you're a coach, we're here on a podcast together, and we, there's mutual benefit in regards to that. But some of us, unfortunately, are a bit scared to death of doing such things. So, you're a testimony to it. And I would just encourage that if there are any out there, any persons who maybe feel a bit like that, because we're all growing, oh, I'm doing such and such, and that one over there, she's wanting to do it as well, and she's asked me how I do such and such, and I don't think I should tell her, because if I do, she might surpass me, oh, terrible fear. Some people feel like that. So if you do,
yeah, I do. I totally understand that people will feel that way, but I think if you're coming from a place of lack, that's when you start to feel like, oh, someone is going. But when you come from a place of abundance, when you feel like there's enough room for all of us, because there really
exactly,
is, like, we're dealing with a universe full of people. I
right,
I feel like, what you have to offer is so different from what I have to offer, that there's enough room. Like, just getting that abundant mindset of it's not going to get finished because it got to my turn. It's going
I
to be
know.
there.
And that is what kind of leads into the next question, because you are a confidence coach, and the character that I described is really one who, as you said, who may be in a place of lack. They may suffer from low self-esteem, or not have as much confidence as they would like. And I think that there's something in just being open, candid, naked on these subject matters, especially as women, because there's many
Yes.
different groups trying to build sisterhood and such like, and there are problems within it. And what some of those problems are, when we dig deeper, what we find is that it's to do with lack of confidence. It's to do with a mindset that lives in the place of lack, and also this thing called low self-esteem. And a lot of people get mixed up or use interchangeably the word self-esteem and confidence. So as a confidence coach, could you just clear this up a little bit for us? What's the difference between low self-esteem and confidence?
So I just see this, why I even went into confidence coaching is because I have come from, I have been through a journey of complete lack of self-esteem to borderline avid people pleasing, the kind of people pleasing that would embarrass on a on a normal day. You'll be like, oh my sister, please get a grip of yourself. So I've come from that place, and to a place where I've got so much love of self that I can now work from an overflow. It's just it's radiating out because I've worked on me. I've come from that can't look you in the eye, look at your shoe kind of lack of self-esteem to a place of overflow, of abundance. And that's when I want to make if I want to ever distinguish between confidence and self-esteem, I would say that having a healthy self-esteem, or having a love for self, knowing who you are, loving who you are with your flaws, your shortcomings, just saying, yes, this is me. I accept me. I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to improve. But this is me. This is how I come. I'm not apologizing for it anymore. I'm tired of apologizing for it. When you come from that place where you just know that you're connected to the everlasting source of, who is the creator, and just having that that love that just overpowers you, just encompasses you so much, so that you have no choice but to just gush it out. When you come from that healthy place, that for me is the of confidence. That is the root of confidence. So building that love of, so healthy self-esteem equals confidence. Because I would say this, I'm married to someone who It's not loud. He's not like me. He's not, oh, look at me, kind of confidence. He is unapologetically himself, and that is his confidence. Like, you would almost, think that he was arrogant, but it's just because he knows who he is. And so it could stem from just, and if anyhow that it projects out, it's first of all built inside, and that's where the self-esteem starts. So that would be the only distinction that I could make between it. Just getting from a healthy place of self-love to it just gushing out for the world to see, whether it's quiet or or hush. But yeah, it starts from inside, within.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, I just wondered, the women that come to you for coaching, why do they, say that they've come to you, for confidence coaching? What are their reasons? Is there any kind of pattern?
Well, on a normal, like a normal a woman who, most of my clients are, probably most of them are moms, and I think that's why they really, that's why, they towards me, because I'm a mom too. And I think being a mom has it takes a toll on your confidence. Like, you come from being, self-sufficient to now, almost just sacrificing so much for another person that you almost don't know how to exist without your children. So most of them just want to feel empowered again, like, okay, there is more to me. There's so much more that I can offer than I'm gonna use air quotes to this one, just being a mom, because there's nothing about just being a mom. It's a whole, but there's so much to me that I can offer the world, so that's really, it's just for them, just finding that space to thrive again, whether it's from, coming from a corporate world to now being a mom who's a stay-at-home mom, or coming from, an entrepreneurial ground, or wanting to go into entrepreneurship. So yes, it's just finding their space to be themselves and just thrive in it.
Awesome. That's good. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, actually, when it comes to the mompreneur stuff, and just being very honest about the whole situation, because online we see a lot of, influencers and people that, paint a certain picture, and we want to get real about that. So as an entrepreneur, you have created Inspired Creative Hub. Now, I really want you to tell us more about that and your journey in creating it and where you are now.
Right. So I love writing. You already know that.
Yes.
From when I was a little girl, I've always just write. Once upon a time I had a blog. I'm very passionate about writing. But one thing that I became passionate about recently was social media. I'm fascinated by how you can go from being a no one to just, this personality. But for me, how I use social media, it's like a tool to empower brands. So that passion grew. With that passion growing, I realized that there was a demand, especially as we entered the pandemic. Everyone was flocking onto social media. So I thought, hold on, while you're here, there are businesses who would love to have a space on social media to showcase their business. But the difference was, we went with an Uber model of doing business. So it was create a demand where there would not necessarily be one. So we targeted like small businesses who probably don't have huge budgets to spend on advertising or marketing on social media. So we've kind of targeted those, those entrepreneurs, those businesses, and we said to them, look, we would do this for you on a really, really affordable basis, so you don't miss out on being on social media. So with with that model, we are able to carve for ourselves a really good chunk of the market, because you know there's so many small businesses out there who could do with the social media marketing but don't have that huge hit. So we go for those ones, and very excited to say, we're all right, we're doing okay with our niche. But Inspired Creative Hub is just a hub where we help small businesses with branding, logos, websites, social media management, but it's also the creative side to publishing as well. So helping Black authors bring their books to life, just merging all my passions into one, and just help putting it out there for the world to see. But there's more. There's more to Inspired Creative Hub, because one thing that I knew from a very, very, very from the earliest beginning when I wanted to start a business was I always wanted to empower my brothers and sisters on the continent, and I'm so pleased that we do that with Inspired Creative Hub, because we're working with some amazing, amazing, amazing young men and women on the continent, who have so much to offer, who have so much potential. I'm learning so much from these people, because they've got ideas, the ideas just keep coming, and I'm so happy that I'm able to work with them, and just together we're all just we're doing our thing. We're loving what we do. We're doing our thing, and our business partners, or our businesses we work with, are part of the family as well. So grateful.
That's awesome. I remember when we was talking earlier, and I kind of likened it onto some of the business services that you offer and how it's done. It reminded me of like Fiverr, like almost like an African version of Fiverr, where all of our people that have their skills can basically be hired. It really does sound awesome. Why not? Indeed, it's needed. We have to have our own of these things, because Africa's a large continent and there's so much talent, so much talent, that definitely needs to have access, to the world, be access for the talents and the skills, and just build something for ourselves. I think what you're doing is really, really awesome. We might have to talk, actually. I could do some help for my social media. So that's really awesome. That's awesome. Now we have, hold on, there's a question here about how can one identify if their confidence is low? We did talk about confidence a little bit earlier, but why not? Let's answer this question just for those who are coming in now. What would you say, confidence coach? What are some of the indicators?
So the first is how you're talking to yourself. So what is that self-talk, because I think it all starts here. How are you talking to yourself? What word are you using? Because once you can't pick the words that will bolster that like your being. I think that's where it stems from, where instead of saying things like, oh, I can't, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, those things really really bring us to a low. First of all, how are you talking to yourself? That's the first indicator for me, because the words in here are so powerful, and once the words in there convince you, yes, you're all you're the least of everyone else, then you would start to act it. So how are you talking to yourself? What is your self-talk? That is your first indicator of realizing whether or not you're working in confidence or not. So listen to that, listen to it, listen to that self chatter, because once you figure it out, if you're not able to work on it, then you will not act on it. So that's the first indicator. Listen.
Exactly. Well done. Well said. Excellent. Excellent. So we're just going to quickly go for a break. And whilst we do so, please, I would love the listening audience to share on your timeline so that people can come on and catch part 2 of COVID Conquerors. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to go for that little break, and we'll see you on the other side.
It's great you're enjoying the show.
Are you a COVID conqueror? Are you thriving personally or by serving your community during this pandemic? If this is you and you want to inspire others by sharing your story on the COVID Conqueror series, apply now. Send an email to aishapodcast@yahoo.com. Oh, and remember to share this podcast with those you know it will help. Now, back to the interview. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Aisha Mohammed podcast. This is COVID Conquerors. This is the podcast series to motivate and to inspire during this uncertain time of the pandemic, just to let you know that you can thrive regardless to whom or what. And I have the proof. I have some people here on a fortnightly basis that come and let us know about what they're doing, the challenges they've had, how they've overcome, the things that they're doing now, and just a positive word. So please share with your Facebook friends, and also on YouTube. Just like to give a shout out to the audience over there as well, because we're live over there on YouTube. So I'd like to thank the audience members. I've got some old faithfuls on here, Brother Edward, Brother Michael, and my wonderful mother, and I've got another person that's popped up here, Brother Ivan. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. I can't see everyone on all of the platforms that I'm streaming live on, but those of you that I can see, thank you very much for your support and for liking and sharing and for all of the love. And those of you whom I can't see, just put #replay in the comments. When I visit these other platforms, I will acknowledge you. Okay. Well, we had a really nice first half where we was just talking about your books as an author, children's books, and how you were able to write your first book in particular. Some of the, negative things that you were told, but the fact that you overcame that, and you have 2 wonderful books for children. I've got one here, which is Emma's Gift, and where can you get this from? I got mine from Amazon. Are they on your website?
Amazon. Yes. And for those, I was just about to say, if you're in the UK, I can, free delivery for those of you in the UK on my website, kamapala.com, or you can contact me and I'll post it off with, signed it off for you, and send it with a little note in there for Boba. If you want a signed copy, just contact me and I'll send it off to you.
Okay, awesome. We also had some conversation about confidence and the difference between that and self-esteem, and the type of women that actually come to you, Sister Kamapala, as a confidence coach. And what she shared is that it's mums who want to kind of get their swag back because motherhood is something that can be all-consuming, and sometimes you need a helping hand just to get back on track. And this is some very real conversation that we're going to go into as we discuss what it's like to be a mompreneur. And now that leads us nicely on to you told us a bit about your Inspired Creative Hub as well. So now we want to know, you do all of these fantastic things, okay? You're an author, you've created this new business, you're full of passion for what it is that you do. So just tell us now, okay, you're a mum. You're a mum of how many?
Mum of 3 boys.
Woo, 3 boys. Wow. I'm a mum of 3 as well. So we have something in common there. So, how, I know you get asked this all the time, but, do tell, how do you manage creating a businesses really, and care for your children? How do you go about doing that? What's it like?
I don't. I don't. That's the straightforward answer. because if I came here and told you, oh, I've got it under control, I'm a super mom, I would not be doing any justice to the motherhood part, would I? Because that it takes a lot to raise three children. So I do it. I wrote this on on my social media. I do it scared. I do it, with doubts. I do it with so much worry, but I do it, and that's for me, that's what keeps me going, is the fact that I can't afford not to do it. I haven't got the luxury of just sitting and not doing it. I have so much, riding on this, that I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do it, with all of that, those things hanging, on my back, but I have to do it. So, but one of the things that I have to say is, we as a family have really learned how to be patient with each other. We've we've tried
Mm-hmm.
to all just come to bubble that they had us in. And yes, it's shown us how patient we are. I think love has conquered it, hopefully. But I do it because I also have a fantastic I got a fantastic network of support, and I think that's where we should start as as mompreneurs. It's finding those people that you can truly rely on when it's so low for you, because you're a mompreneur, the lows that you're going to face, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on a weekly. So you have to have that support of people who, are going to pick you up when you get to that place where you're just like, crying over making dinner, or, just wanting to just, hit a brick wall, but, holding yourself back. You need to have that support. And that for me is how I do it. I've got a fantastic support of, other moms, family, husband, who just lift me up. They make me so good in the spotlight because
Mm-hmm.
they're there. I can count on them. They make me look like a woman because I've got them to just, the support just, it boists me up, So on days when I'm running late to pick up, the kids, I can always call, a mom friend up and say, can you just, get. So if you don't have that, I would absolutely urge you to go out and build your network of support. I know it's really tough, especially in the COVID era, where we're not really mixing so much, but you can always start, from your little bubble, delegating, because that's one thing I learned how to do a lot of. I'm not going to be picking up after, the boys when they can pick up after themselves now. So thank you very
Mm-hmm.
much. Everyone is going to pick up, So you have to be a real boss, to get things done. Like, hey, you guys pick up your socks from the floor. So I'm teaching, I'm making this young men. I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, I'm doing their wives a favor, Thank me. So yeah, I've made them, realize, like, hey, you guys have to help mommy here. Come.
No, I think that,
Yes.
that's a nugget right there, because you have to be able to look at it in a way where you can kind of use wisdom with your children. And I find that children, they're different from when we were young today. They're very strong-willed, they're very fearless. So you have to find ways to get them on board. And one of the things that I tell mine is that we're a
Yeah.
team, and every team member has their part to play. So when it comes to tidying up, yes, that's something that we all, will chip in and do. It's not just down to one person to do. And children, really, they like to feel a part of things anyway, and feel that they have a place in the family. So those things can most definitely work for
Yeah.
good. But when you're a mom and you are, managing multiple
Yes.
projects and such, like, I wanted to ask you this question. Do you ever suffer from mummy guilt?
Um, I would say no, and I'll tell you why I say that. Because
Mm-hmm.
my clients know that before there was Inspired Creative Hub, before there was writing, my kids come first. Like, that would drop it all in a heartbeat. Like, I don't want to compromise. So for me, thankfully, I am
Mm-hmm.
still there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this whole, entrepreneur thing is a bonus for me. My children are everything. If I need to drop it all, I would. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes me unserious, but I really don't care, because that is my number one priority. So yeah, um I'm not yet feeling the mom guilt, because I'm still there. I'm there.
Okay, that's
They
good.
come
Because
first.
I mean, I know that some women do, they want to get that bag. They want the best for themselves, they want the best for their children. They might work 2, 3 jobs, and sometimes they can feel like, this is slipping here, that is slipping
Mm.
there, or, just feel guilty that their time is consumed in having to apply themselves to so many different things. They might not feel present when they're around their children, and therefore they can just feel consumed with guilt, and it's called mummy guilt, and it's a real what
But
would you
can I
say, condition that many women end up having to face and deal with on an
can
emotional
I just
level.
say
Yeah.
can I just say that
Hmm.
I absolutely believe that that is a thing. And I really, really respect moms who want
Hmm.
to build all and, do it, because I understand from. So I am just one of the lucky few who has, a good support system, in the sense that if I didn't have to do, what I do today, I do it because it's something that I'm able to do. If I couldn't, then I am fortunate enough to say, okay, I don't need to do this. So
Hmm.
I would not even put myself, like, I am humbled, humble enough to know that no, I don't even, I can fit in that career with those amazing women who are doing so much, and who rightfully so have to, who suffer with the mom guilt. So I'm lower than that. I'm beneath them. They're superhumans. I'm not. I'm lucky.
Well, I think that these kinds of conversations are very important, because social media has led for there to be lots of influencers, and some of these are women with children, black women with children, and some of them, the way that they present themselves to the world a couple of days, a week maybe after they popped out a brand new baby, is they're on camera with their face beat, looking like nothing ever happened. And if you are maybe a new mom and you're seeing that, you'll be thinking to yourself, wow, that's the standard that I've got to meet. She's able to do that. I'm somehow failing because I don't look like that. I'm not together as that. They're running a businesses, they've got multiple children, so they've got a husband, they've got everything on go, and everything just looks 100% seamless. And it's so important to just shed light on, you know, the realness of it, what goes on behind the scenes. And the fact that that is not necessarily achievable, and it might actually
Yeah.
be a false
Yes.
image that some women may actually beat themselves up over, because they feel
No.
that they're not reaching that. So just to peel back the mask on that and kind of just shed light on what it's really like. And life is what you make it. It's to do with your mindset. Some people still think that if they have children, they can't make it in life. So therefore, when women like, you come forward, I come forward, other women come forward, it's very good to say that you can still work on projects, community projects, or your business, or whatever it is. You can still do these things.
Mm,
Having support is
mm,
one of the things that's going to enable you to
mhm.
excel very quickly. And for those who don't have support, you might have to find it even online. you know.
Yes.
And that brings me to a group that you can join,
Yes.
actually. Mumtastic Women. It's a Facebook group that I've had. I kind of laid it to rest, but I think I'm going to revive it again, so I'm going to put the link in the comments. And if you are a female, a mum, and you have a business of your own, or you do community work and such like, and you know, you want to meet other like-minded women who are making things happen, to be able to support and also find resources and things that will help you on your journey, then join the group. The link is in the comments. Okay, so what advice can you give to mums who may be struggling to cope? I know you say that you have your support. I've put forward something in regards to a resource that people can access. What can you say or give of yourself to help those who know who may be struggling? What do you think?
And this is where I'm going to say, give yourself grace. Pressure is real. Like social media has, like the before, our moms didn't, have this pressure of, bouncing back in shape immediately after they have a baby. All those pressures were, but now because of the unrealistic standard that the world has put up, women, moms feel like, we have to, give yourself grace, for goodness sake. You are, a mom now, like the kind of about, you're going on a journey, going to be sacrificing so much of yourself, that you need that grace to keep going, that grace, that self grace, like the grace that will not even come from self, just to realize, like, I am, just the point, of that grace is, I am enough, for now I am enough, it's not a cliche, you are that, every, the pressures will be from everyone to bombard you, and just, but on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, keep in your grace, just in your grace of just being enough, before everyone else starts putting words in your be enough. Okay, so that's the first foundation of it all. Give yourself grace. Then when you've given yourself grace, for goodness
Yeah.
sake, I beg you, stop, looking left, right, center for everyone, what everyone else is doing with their lives, and just, this is your life now. Okay, this is your life, this is your journey, this is yours, is your only life, maybe you're gonna come back, but this is your only life, and you're gonna make the most of it. Sometimes you just have to realize that there's seasons to everything. The things that you and I couldn't do today, yesterday, we're able to do now, so I could not in a billion years have been able to start Inspired Creative Hub, when I just had the first two. It was just too overwhelming. So now, I've learned the ropes of motherhood. I'm able to, understand how to, weave it into weave, because it's sometimes the journey is just seasonal. There's certain things that you couldn't do yesterday that you're able to do. So sometimes, looking inwards and realizing, like, it's not the season for this, would help as well with that process of, grace, because that way the pressure doesn't overwhelm you. So give yourself grace. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. This is your journey. Just stay focused on your lane. You are enough. Don't let anybody else tell you less. You're going to do great things, but maybe it's not the time. And if it is the time, just stay patient on that journey. Okay, you're gonna do great things. Stay patient on that journey. If you're doing today, if you give it 5 years, you commit to it, you will be successful. So remember, checklist, grace, you are enough. Don't look left. This is your journey. Be patient. You might just be in a season, and eventually, if you don't give up, you're going to get where you really need to be. Check
You
it.
know
Just
what?
check it. Check with everything that you go. Just
That is awesome advice. Awesome advice. And it rings true. it rings true. I can identify there's definitely different seasons. I find that probably the more children you have, the more your capacity increases to a degree. You know, things that you didn't think you'd be able to do when you had one child and you got two more, you're like, wow, I got wings. You know, so it can be done. And breathe, you know, just take time and breathe. And as you rightly said, don't be watching everybody else. You know, you're your own unique self on your own unique journey. You got your capacity, know what that is, know when to stop and give yourself time and space. And just just proceed and reach out. You know, if you're struggling, definitely reach out, because you know, we're all here. We're supposed to be a village. It might be a bit fragmented, but there are those of us who have that mentality. So, you know, reach out, join the Mumtastic Women group. And on speaking about that, what is this I see here in the comments? I'm suing. I want to join and can't because I'm a man. Send me the address so I can sue. Oh wow, brother Michael, I'm sorry about that, but it's a mum thing, okay? It's a mum thing. So yeah, that's awesome advice. Thank you for that. Now I I want to ask you a question. Who is your biggest inspiration?
Ooh, I get that all the time, and sometimes I think people are expecting me to call like this famous person, you know, like somebody who's created like some a black or somewhere. But I'll tell you who inspires me: the single moms. Those people,
Mm-hmm.
how do they do it? Sometimes when I can't, or I just look to single moms who've got a job, they're holding down kids, they got like 2 or 3 jobs. How to do that?
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just hats off. You are the rock of the world. You single moms out there who are raising children, and then the ones who do it. Oh, that's my biggest inspiration. Those women.
Awesome. Now you
Love them.
mentioned that you were married, and I have a question here. It's how important is it in choosing the right man in accomplishing your goals? Now this is a very interesting question, because in a religious realms, let's say, it's said that a woman is a man's helpmeet, etc. Does it ever
Yeah.
work the other way round? How can women be supported, by the right type of man in accomplishing her goals? What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, my husband is a social media phobe, and he's one of those people who is so reclusive. He just wants to say unknown. He doesn't have a face. So yes, um and I think we've grown a lot. We've been married now 8 years, and in terms of how do you even find that person, I couldn't tell you. I don't know the answer to that. All I know is when you found that person, it is a lot of work. If you come in with the notion that this is the happy, every day go happy go lucky, it really isn't. Marriage takes work, and I think many people test the fact that the pandemic has been a real test to
Mm-hmm.
marriages. You go from not seeing this man works, who works somewhere, and all of a sudden he's here in your face all the time. And you're like, okay. So, um, finding the right person, I couldn't. One of the things that I've realized, with how we've coped, as a couple in this pandemic, is dialogue. We've talked like we've never talked before, and that
Mm-hmm.
has really helped us, because the training that we're all going through, having to talk it out sometimes could even just resolve the issues that we were going through. Just so we've been talking a lot more now, and by talking, we're, resolving things that would otherwise just weigh us down and just bring so much, what's the word, animosity between. We're talking a lot more, and that has really helped for our relationships. Dialogue, conversation, compromise, the words, use them.
Mhm. Awesome. Thank you for that insight. I think, if you choose the right one, anything is possible. Anything and everything is indeed possible. So it's very important. Very, very important. So thank you for sharing that with us. Now, you can be found on social media, can't you now? Mm-hmm. You're on Instagram, you're also on Facebook, and there you have the details. If you want to
Yeah.
touch base with our wonderful, wonderful sister, Kamapala, you can, reach out. As you can see, she has a beautiful and wonderful spirit. She has a thriving business. She's a confidence coach. I've enjoyed my time with you immensely. Thank you for giving us so much insight about what you're up to and sharing your gifts and talents with your book. You can check this out, people. Get a copy for your niece, your nephew, your children, etc., etc. It's very important that we support Black business. And this weekend's coming up, I believe they have the Black Pound, let's be found, purposefully supporting Black business. So I just want to thank all of you for joining us. I'm loving all of these comments that we have had. And Brother Edward says that he appreciates your testimony. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. And we've come to that time. We've come to a close. So until next fortnight, take good care of yourself. Stay safe, and set your reminders for the next episode of COVID Conquerors. Sister Kamapala, thank you once again, my sister. Mwah. So love spending this time with you, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors. So everyone, good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you so much. I have really enjoyed it as well.
Awesome.
I must have set up at least 15 plus food banks.
We need good examples of marriage.
Oh, wow. I am resilient, I am strong, and I am capable.
Sit down and wait for this thing to pass over. We're going to operate. They say, learn to dance in the storm.